I want to tell you something nobody told me when I was starting out. Money is not the problem. The story you build around money, that is the problem. I was 22 years old and I made a decision. I decided that everything else could wait. Relationships, rest, joy, all of it could wait. First, I would get the money. Then I would live. I had a number in my head, a specific number. I told myself when I hit that number, everything would feel different. I would feel different. Safe, arrived, done. So I worked. I really worked. 14-hour days, 7-day weeks. I canceled things. I missed things. I told myself it was temporary. The sacrifice was temporary. Year 2, I got my first real result. Money in the account that I had never seen before. I remember staring at the number on the screen and then waiting for the feeling that was supposed to come with it. It did not come. I told myself I had not made enough yet. That was the problem. The number needed to be bigger, so I moved the target and I kept running. Year 4, I upgraded everything. Apartment, car, clothes. I bought the things I had told myself I deserved. And I remember standing in my new apartment the first night, alone, looking around at all of it and feeling nothing. Not nothing exactly, something worse than nothing. A quiet kind of confusion, like arriving somewhere after a very long journey and realizing you had been reading the map wrong the entire time. I stopped calling people back around year 5, not on purpose. I just kept being busy, and the people who loved me eventually stopped calling first, and I told myself I would reconnect when things slowed down. Things never slowed down because I never let them slow down. Slowing down felt like losing, like falling behind something I could never quite see clearly enough to name. A long pause. Year 6, I had a conversation with myself at 2 in the morning in my expensive apartment. I was sitting on the floor of my living room. I don't know why the floor, not the sofa. And I asked myself what I actually wanted. I could not answer. I knew what I wanted to buy. I knew what I wanted to earn. But what I actually wanted, what would make me feel whole, I had no answer. I had been too busy to tend to that question, and it had gone quiet from neglect. Year 7, I met someone. She was warm and real, and she saw through every layer of the performance I had built. She told me once, "You were the most absent, present person I have ever met." I did not understand what she meant then. I understand now. I was physically there and completely elsewhere. My body in the room, my mind already on the next thing, the next number, the next move. I had optimized myself out of my own life. She left in year 8, not with anger, with sadness, which was worse. Anger would have felt like something I could argue with. Her sadness just sat there telling the truth. The week she left, I worked more than I had ever worked. 16-hour days. I told myself I was being productive. I was running. I had just gotten faster at running. Flatly, year 9, I hit the number, the original number I had written down at 22 years old. I sat at my desk and I looked at it and I waited, and there was nothing. Not relief, not joy, not safety, just the number on a screen. That night, I walked through my apartment, room by room. I had a very nice apartment. Every room was well designed and well furnished and completely empty of anything that felt like me. I sat down in the middle of my living room floor again, like year 6, and this time I did not ask what I wanted. I just sat there, and the silence was so loud I could not stay inside it, so I turned on the television and watched something I do not remember until I fell asleep on the floor. I woke up on the floor at 4 in the morning with the television still on, and something had shifted. Not fixed, not resolved, just shifted. Like a bone that had been slightly out of place for years had moved a fraction of a millimeter closer to where it belonged. I called my father that morning. I hadn't called him properly in almost 3 years. He picked up on the second ring. He didn't say, "Where have you been?" He just said, "I'm glad you called." That broke something open in me that money had been papering over for a decade. I started asking different questions, not how do I earn more, but what did I actually enjoy before I decided enjoyment was inefficient? Not how do I grow faster, but what have I been growing toward, and is that actually where I want to end up? The answers were uncomfortable, because the honest answer was that I had been running a race I chose at 22 and had never once stopped to ask if I still wanted to be in it. I did not quit everything. I want to be honest about that. I didn't have some dramatic revelation and throw it all away. That's not how it works. But I started making different choices inside the same life. I started calling people back the same day. I started taking Sundays, not productively, just taking them, doing nothing that generated a result, sitting outside, reading something with no application, existing without an agenda. Something slow and real started building, not in my account, in the room, the actual room I was sitting in. It started to feel inhabited by me, like I had finally moved into my own life after renting it out to ambition for 10 years. The money did not disappear. I did not become less capable. What disappeared was the desperation underneath the capability. And without the desperation, the capability got quieter and cleaner and actually more effective. I think about that 22-year-old version of me sometimes, sitting down and writing that number, so certain, so sure that the number was the answer. I do not want to go back and stop him. He had to run, but I wish someone had told him the number is not the destination. The number is just a number. The room I arrived at after 10 years of chasing was empty because I had spent 10 years filling it with things and 0 time filling it with presence. Presence cannot be purchased. It cannot be optimized. It can only be chosen repeatedly in small, ordinary moments that feel like nothing while they're happening. I still work hard. I still care about building things. But now when I finish a day, I can sit in my room and it does not feel empty. It feels like somewhere I actually live. That is not a small thing. For me, after everything, that is the whole thing.